Hi guys, it's Raven. So I just did this video on Periscope, but I wanted to do a completely different video to put it on Facebook and YouTube. So this video is all about moving forward in your life and loving and forgiving your parents despite whatever that you've been through with them. And so what drove me to do this video is because I was just talking to a friend of mine about the book that I'm writing, that I wrote, Going Beyond My Yesterday, which will be out hopefully by the end of 2015. Waiting on my editor, but that's another story. But okay, so a lot of times we deal with unhealthy things, bitterness, hate, anger, whatever, because our parents have done something to us. They weren't there like we needed them to be. They neglected us. They didn't care. They didn't love us the way we felt like we should be loved. They weren't, whatever the situation was, they weren't what you needed them to be. And a lot of times we get upset because it's like, well, you were supposed to love me, you're supposed to protect me, you're supposed to be older than me, you're supposed to be more mature, you're supposed to know how to be a parent. But sometimes we have to understand that our parents are human too, and our parents operate in hurt and bitterness and brokenness and things like that just the same as we do. And so if no one ever teaches someone how to do something, they can't do that. For instance, and no one ever teaches me how to effectively communicate that I'm upset or that I disagree with something or how I feel. If no one ever teaches me how to effectively communicate that in a positive way, then I'm gonna, do whatever. So for instance, if I'm always being shown that, when you're upset you cuss and you scream and all of that stuff, then I don't know any other way besides what I've been shown or what I've been taught to handle that situation, how to effectively communicate how I feel in a positive way. So you can't, or for instance, so say if, I never saw anyone cook, I never, read anything on learning how to cook, I can't cook because I don't know. No one ever taught me. And so that's the thing. Being a parent, no one ever teaches you how to be a parent. There is no such thing as a book on how to be a parent because every child is different. So, and even beyond that, it's not even necessarily about your children being different. Sometimes parents just do the best that they can. You don't know, how, for instance, so say if, there's a mom whose dad wasn't around, and then her child's dad wasn't around, she might not necessarily know how to, help that child get through that if, she doesn't, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. So basically, they can only do the best that they know. And if they don't know how to do something, they can try, they can do the best that they can do, but we have to understand that parents are human too. They aren't just born just knowing how to do everything, and even as an adult, they're not always going to be the best parent because sometimes they don't know how to. Sometimes there's ways of discipline that is completely abuse, and let's be real, there's a lot of stuff that happens out here that's abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. Let's be honest, a lot of the things that happen out here are abuse. But if that's how you're taught to handle your children and how to discipline your children, for instance, one thing I hate, cussing at your kids. I hate that. But if no one ever teaches you how to really effectively communicate with that child, look, you need to listen to what I'm saying. Then they might cuss, but we have to understand that they're human. They're not going to be perfect in every single parenting way. And we have to love ourselves enough, love that parent enough to grow beyond that. Don't ever get stuck in time where you feel like, I can't do this because my parent did this, or because my parent did that, or I can't have an effective relationship because my parent didn't effectively have a great relationship, or didn't have effectively love me, or couldn't be what I needed them to be. Never reduce your future, your greatness, never reduce anything about yourself because of what a parent did. Love yourself and love that parent enough to be like, you know what, this happened, but I'm going to be the best me possible. In high school, I had this mindset of, well, my dad wasn't there, so I'm this way, or I'm that way, or I'll never have a effective relationship or a positive relationship or a healthy relationship with a man because my dad wasn't there, so I don't know how to have a healthy relationship with a man. So what? Guess what? My Heavenly Father has taught me how to have an effective relationship with a male, and that's also something that my dad, now that I'm older and I do have a relationship with him, that both are teaching me. And for instance, I'm going to give you guys a testimony which wasn't originally in my plans to share, but God put it on my heart to share as a testimony that might help someone else. So my dad wasn't around when I was growing up. I knew who he was, but he wasn't around. And even when he wasn't always the best role model or the best person. There's a lot of things I disagreed with and still to this day disagree with, but I was dealing with a guy earlier this year, and there were certain things that he was doing that weren't terribly bad or anything, but they were just triggering things that I realized came from my relationship with my dad. And so one day I'm sitting in Bible study like, Dad, like, why do I handle this in this certain type of way, or why do I do this, or why do I think this certain type of way? And God was like, you want to fix it? Go to the source of the problem. That is the only way that you're going to be able to fix this. Go to the source of the problem. And so on February 13th, 2015, I called my dad and I was like, hey, I'm not mad at you, I'm not angry at you, I don't hate you, but this is how you not being around has affected me. And throughout that whole relationship, that whole talk, he didn't know it, but I was just like bawling in tears, and I was very, like, besides when I was talking, anytime he was talking, I was crying, and I was just like very silent about it. But it wasn't tears of sadness, of pain, of hurt or anger. It was tears of relief. Like, you know what? I can move forward. I can be the best me possible. I can have an effective relationship with a guy and not always think, oh, I remember when my dad did this, or respond to this male because in a certain way because my dad wasn't there, because my dad didn't teach me how to effectively have a relationship with a guy, or respect myself, or be a lady, or whatever the situation was. And so had I been kind of in the mindset of, well, I don't know how to be in a relationship because my dad didn't teach me, I would forever be in unhealthy relationships. But we have to love ourselves enough to move beyond that and not hold that to our parents. Hold that against our parents. One of the greatest things I learned in life is how to love beyond my pain and forgive. All it takes, and this is something I also learned like within the last year, when you let go, okay, I'm going to say it this way. It takes 1 second to forgive. 1 second. Now it's going to take you a minute to possibly get out of your feelings, but when you forgive, all it takes is, God, I surrender it. I'm so willing to like not continue to hold on to it, not to continue to replay the situation in my mind. God will literally, I was dealing with something, it wasn't a family thing, but I was dealing with something where I was so angry and so bitter and so hurt, and I had so much hate in me. And God was like, you cannot move forward until you let that go. You are making life decisions because of what someone did to you. You have to let it go. And I was like, you know what, God, I don't even know how to forgive, but God, I give it to you. I refuse to continue to hold on to it. I refuse to keep making life decisions based on this hurt. I give it to you. And I prayed every day for 2 weeks. God started to change my heart, to heal my heart. And yeah, there's been times when that hurt and that bitterness might have wanted to come back, but guess what? Every time it's something started to want to make me feel some type of way, I'm like, nope. God, I give it to you. I'm not going to start this. I'm not going to feel this way. I'm not going to get upset. I'm going to give it to you. And that's something that we have to learn. And the greatest way to not be in that bitterness and hate and anger, mindset is to forgive as soon as it happens. There's been things that happened to me recently where something happened and I might be upset, and I'm like, you know what? No. I'm not going to continue to dwell on this. You have your few minutes to be upset. Move on. Move on. And that's literally what I've done. I'm like, you know what? I release it. God, I give it to you. And I let it go. That's the greatest lesson that you can learn, is to love people, forgive them, and love beyond however you might feel. And so back to the whole parent thing, you have to love them no matter what. There's still things to this day that I might not agree with that my dad does, but guess what? I love him for who he is. I understand why he does some of the things that he does, and even the things that I don't understand, it's fine, because he's human just the same as I am. And just like I'm not going to be the perfect parent when I become a parent, he isn't either, and that's okay. But the thing is, with the whole point of this video is for you not to get stuck in that and not to be limited in life because of whatever happened to you from your parents. And that's like my whole biggest thing in life, is I want to build a foundation that teaches children that no matter what your home environment was, no matter if your family neglected you, or no matter whether you were abused, or whatever the situation was, that you grow beyond that and reach your fullest potential instead of wallowing in it and being stuck and being paralyzed by whatever happened to you. So that's all I really want to say. Thank you guys for watching. Be blessed, and I really, really, really pray that this is blessing someone. And I just really pray that you guys are able to overcome whatever situations you might have gone through with your parents or as a child. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Be blessed, and I love you guys. Bye bye.